There are people out there who make more money from one tiny skill than most people make working all month. And the wild part? Every single one of those skills is something you could learn for free. I know, it sounds fake, like some get-rich-quick ad that ends with a dude leaning on a rented Lambo. But these aren't hacks. They're real money skills that pay so well it almost feels like you're cheating at life. And once you learn them, you'll never look at work or money the same way again. Let's be honest, nobody ever sat you down in school and said, "Here's how people actually make money." You learned about volcanoes, triangles, and how to find X, but not how to ask for a raise or spot an opportunity worth chasing. That's why you can work 40 hours a week, pay your bills, and still feel like your money's on vacation without you. It's not your fault. You were trained to think that hard work automatically equals good pay. But that's not how the real world works. The real world pays people who understand money skills. So today, I'm going to walk you through 7 of them. No scams, no secret courses. Just real, simple skills that quietly make people rich while everyone else is still refreshing. Indeed. And I promise by the time you hit skill 7, you'll realize why some people keep winning with money no matter what job or business they have. Before we jump in, quick honesty check. How many of these do you already know? None? Great. Half of them. Even better. Drop the number in the comments so we can see who's pretending to be the next Warren Buffett. Here's the big lie we've all been fed. If you just work hard, you'll make more money. Sounds nice. But if that were true, every construction worker, nurse, or teacher would be a millionaire by now. The truth? The world doesn't pay for effort, it pays for impact. And impact comes from skills that create value, solve problems, or move money. That's why one person can make coffee for $15 an hour while another makes $15,000 closing a deal over coffee. Same planet, different skill set. So if you're tired of feeling like you're always running but never moving forward, these are the skills that flip that script. Let's start with the first and maybe the most unfair one of all. Skill number 1, negotiation, the legal money printer. If you learn this one skill, you can literally give yourself a raise anytime you want. I'm not exaggerating. Negotiation is the reason 2 people doing the exact same job can have paychecks that look like they live in different universes. Think about it. Have you ever bought something and thought, I probably could have gotten that cheaper? Congratulations, you just spotted a negotiation gap. That same gap exists in your job, your freelancing, your rent, even your phone bill. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Most prices aren't fixed, they're just confidently suggested. And the person who asks better usually wins. Let me show you how wild this gets. A friend of mine applied for a job. They offered him $55,000. He literally Googled how to negotiate salary, replied with, I was hoping for something closer to $70,000, based on the responsibilities, and they said, okay. That 45-second email made him $15,000. That's more than some people make in 6 months of hard work. Feels like cheating, right? But it's not magic. It's psychology. Here's why it works. People hate awkward silence more than they hate spending money. When you confidently ask for more and then shut up, the other person's brain rushes to fill the silence with a better offer. That's it. That's the whole cheat code. Now, if the idea of negotiating makes you sweat, here's the baby-level version. Don't start high. Start prepared. Write down what you bring, skills, results, reliability, what others are paid in the same role, and one clear reason you deserve more. Then ask. Worst case, they say no. Best case, you just got a 10-30% raise without working a single extra hour. Let's talk real numbers. If you earn $50,000 a year and negotiate just 10% higher, that's $5,000 a year forever. If you invest that $5,000 each year for 10 years at an average 7% return, you'd have around $70,000 from one conversation. Meanwhile, most people spend years hunting for passive income ideas that never even get them close. Negotiation is the real passive income, because once you learn it, every paycheck after that pays more automatically. Here's a fun challenge. The next time someone gives you a price, pause. Count to 3 in your head. Then say, is that flexible? That's it. Sometimes they'll laugh. Sometimes they'll drop the price. But either way, you just practiced the most profitable 3 words in the English language. Be honest. When's the last time you actually asked for more money, instead of just complaining you don't have enough? Comment the year below. Let's see how long it's been since you gave yourself a raise. Now here's where it gets even better. Negotiation isn't just about money, it's about control. Once you realize you can change outcomes by asking, your brain starts applying it everywhere. Better pay, better deals, even better relationships. It's not manipulation, it's communication with confidence. And here's the best part. Most people will never do it. They'll nod along to this video, think that's smart, and still accept the next offer handed to them. Don't be that person. Practice this once this week. even on something small like a coffee shop discount or your phone bill, and see how it feels. Because if you can't ask for $2 off a coffee, you'll never ask for $20,000 off a salary. Skill number 2, leverage literacy. Most people try to get rich by working harder. Rich people get rich by learning how to stretch their effort. That's all leverage is, getting more output from the same input. The difference between a shovel and an excavator. One person digs holes. The other person rents out machines that dig holes for 100 people at once. Leverage sounds fancy, but it's everywhere. A YouTuber uploads once, and it makes money for years. A small business uses software to handle what used to take 10 employees. An investor lets money grow without touching it. That's all leverage. Here's the simple test. If your income stops the moment you stop working, you have zero leverage. And that's fine if you're starting out. But if you never build leverage, you'll always be stuck trading time for cash. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. There are 3 kinds of leverage anyone can use. Tools, software, systems, and AI. They don't sleep, they don't complain, and they work faster than you ever could. People, hiring or collaborating with others who are better at something than you are. Capital, money that earns more money. Investments, small businesses, content that keeps paying you back. The trick is to start small. Automate one repetitive thing. Pay someone once for a system that saves you hours every week. Record or write something once that can earn forever. Because every hour you free up becomes an hour that can make you richer instead of just busier. Here's a fun question for the comments. What's one thing you do every week that a tool or app could probably do better? Leverage isn't about being lazy. It's about being smart enough to build little machines that work when you don't. That's how you break out of the always tired, still broke cycle. Skill number 3, story selling. Let's talk about the world's most underrated superpower, telling a good story. Every single product, job, or idea that makes serious money has a story behind it. Humans don't buy logic, they buy feelings wrapped in logic. Think about it, 2 people can sell the same exact product. One says, "This is a great blender with strong blades." The other says, "This blender saved my mornings because it turns frozen fruit into a smoothie in 10 seconds while I'm half asleep." Guess who sells more? That's story selling. It's not lying. It's showing people why something matters to them, instead of why it matters to you. Even if you never sell a product, story selling still pays. It gets you hired. You tell a better story in interviews. It gets you promoted. You explain your work in a way your boss actually understands. It gets you clients. People trust people who sound human. And here's the fun part. You don't need to be Shakespeare. All you need is this 3-part cheat code. Problem. What pain or frustration exists? Change. What fixed it? Result. What happened after? That's it. Problem, change, result. Tell that story, and you've got people listening. Try this. Next time you explain what you do for work, tell it as a story. Instead of "I'm a designer," say, "I help small businesses look like they actually know what they're doing online." Instantly more interesting. Drop in the comments. Have you ever bought something just because the story was good? Story selling pays because attention pays. If you can make people feel something, you'll never go broke. Skill number 4, financial focus. Here's a painful truth. You probably don't need more opportunities. You need more focus. You need more focus. Every scroll, every ad, every new idea steals tiny pieces of your attention, and attention is the real currency. Think about the people who seem to win at money. They're not smarter. They just finish what they start. They pick one thing and get scary good at it, while everyone else chases 10 half-baked ideas. That's why they look lucky. Luck is usually just undistracted effort. Money loves focus, because focused effort compounds. If you invest $100 every month for years, it snowballs. If you focus on one business or one skill for years, same thing, it compounds. But most people keep pressing reset every 3 months. You can't grow wealth if your brain's in airplane mode. Here's how to fix it. Set one money goal for the next 12 months, not 5, just 1. Write it where you can see it every day. Say no to anything that doesn't move you closer to that one thing. Sounds too simple? Good. Simple works. Because the truth is, focus beats hustle. You can work 10 hours a day and still be broke if half those hours are spent switching ideas. But one focused hour a day for a year can change everything. So ask yourself and answer in the comments. What's the one money goal you actually want to hit in the next year? Not be rich, be specific. Pay off debt, save $5,000, start a side income, write it down. Financial focus feels boring at first, but boring builds empires. Skill number 5, opportunity spotting. Here's a weird truth. The richest people you know aren't necessarily the smartest. They're just the ones who notice things faster than everyone else. Opportunity spotting is basically learning to see money where other people see problems. Every complaint you hear is a business idea in disguise. Every inconvenience is a potential paycheck. Someone got rich because people didn't want to wash their dishes by hand. Someone else built a company because their roommate kept stealing their food, so they invented smart fridge locks. That's the game. That's the game. You notice the pain, you solve the pain, you get paid. But most people miss opportunities because they're too busy complaining. They'll say, "Ooh, my apartment's so loud," instead of thinking, "I wonder if there's a market for cheap soundproofing panels." The same situation, two completely different outcomes. Here's how to train your brain to see opportunities. Step 1. Stop dismissing ideas because they sound too simple. Most successful ideas are simple. Nobody's out here inventing teleportation. They're just solving everyday frustrations. Step 2. Pay attention to what people are already paying for. If you see people happily spending money to avoid something, that's a goldmine. Step 3. Listen more than you talk. People will literally hand you business ideas if you shut up long enough. Once you start spotting opportunities, you'll feel like the world is full of hidden price tags. Because it is. Question for the comments. What's one everyday problem you'd pay someone to fix? Think small. The smaller, the better. That's usually where the real money hides. Skill number 6. Automation and systems thinking. This one might be the closest thing to legal magic. Automation makes money without you doing anything new. Systems thinking means you build once and benefit forever. It's what separates people who are always exhausted from people who quietly win in the background. Here's the simplest way to think about it. If you do something more than twice, systemize it. Write it down, record it, automate it, or delegate it. Because if you don't, you'll keep repeating the same work forever. You don't need fancy tech to do this. Even something small like automatic bill pay, auto-investing, or a weekly budget reminder counts as a system. It's like setting little robots loose in your life. They don't make mistakes, they don't forget, and they don't care about bad moods. Meanwhile, most people try to manage their entire financial life from memory, and then wonder why it always feels chaotic. Automation pays because it protects you from your own inconsistency. You might forget to save, but your system won't. You might feel lazy one week, but your automatic investments won't. Here's the mental shift. Stop asking, "How can I make more money?" Start asking, "How can I make my money make money without me?" That's how real wealth works. Machines, processes, and habits doing 90% of the heavy lifting. Try it this week. Automate one thing in your financial life. Then comment back later how much mental space it freed up. Because once you taste how good it feels to have money working on autopilot, you'll never go back. Skill number 7, emotional control. This is the most underrated money skill on the planet, and probably the hardest one to master. Emotional control is what separates people who build wealth from people who burn it. Because the truth is, money is mostly feelings dressed up as numbers. Think about how people actually lose money. They panic sell their investments when the market drops. They overspend when they're sad. They chase trends because they're scared of missing out. None of those are financial problems. They're emotional ones. The real skill is staying calm when everyone else is losing it. Here's the rule. If you can control your emotions, you can control your outcomes. It's not about being cold or robotic. It's about making choices based on math, not mood. You don't need to meditate on a mountain to do it. Just build a delay between your feelings and your actions. Feel the impulse, pause, breathe, then decide. That 10-second gap can save you thousands. The best investors in history aren't the smartest, they're the calmest. They know emotions are expensive. Patience pays better than excitement ever will. So the next time your brain screams, "Buy it," or "Sell everything," remind yourself that feelings fade, but financial damage sticks around. In the comments, tell me the last time emotion cost you money. Was it a random online splurge? A rushed investment? We've all been there. Now here's the twist that ties everything together. These 7 skills aren't random tricks. They're pieces of one big pattern, the mindset shift that turns money from something you chase into something that follows you. Once you can negotiate, use leverage, tell stories, stay focused, spot opportunities, build systems, and control your emotions, you stop asking, "How do I make money?" and start asking, "Where do I want my money to go?" And that's when everything changes. You stop feeling broke, even if your bank balance isn't massive, because you finally know how to play the game. That's why these skills feel unfair. They let you win in a system that most people don't even understand they're playing. Here's the truth. The people who look lucky are usually just people who learned this stuff earlier. If you get these 7 skills right, money stops being the goal. It becomes the side effect. And if you want to actually build these skills step by step, watch the next video. It's where we turn this mindset into real results.